Hey everyone, welcome to Top 10 Nerd, the channel where we talk about all things nerdy. I'm your host Kelly Pally, and today we're jumping back into our series of the top 10 best superheroes, an entirely subjective list put together by the host of this channel, with no overlapping. So none of the heroes featured on the previous part 1 list will be present on this one. We essentially just give our reasons why the 10 heroes that appear on our list deserve credit for being pretty damn awesome. So with that in mind, let's jump in. In at number 10, Bucky Barnes. Bucky Barnes is a versatile character. He's adapted to the times and keeps coming back as a fan favorite. Initially an army brat, the character was an orphan at the army training camp that his father was accidentally killed at during training. That's where he met Steve Rogers. And once he learned that Rogers was Captain America, a hero he idolized, he soon became his sidekick. The one and only Marvel sidekick ever, sort of. Bucky would go on all sorts of missions fighting off evil Axis powers, but towards the end of the war in 1945, he died in a tragic accident. This all happened during a skirmish where Bucky was trying to defuse a bomb on an airplane. The bomb accidentally detonated, and Cap and the US Army assumed that he died in the explosion. For years, the character was absent from the comics, and acted as an intriguing backstory in the later adventures Cap would have. But that wasn't the end of Bucky. In 2005, he would reappear as the Winter Soldier, giving Captain America one hell of a challenge on the battlefield, and quite the psychological mind f***. He was essentially a villain, but later his memory would be restored and all would be well. Bucky and Cap is possibly the most profound superhero sidekick relationship, alongside that of Jason Todd and Batman's, and arguably Dick Grayson, but there's no tragedy there. Cap lost Bucky, got him back in a completely nefarious way, and eventually had to help him rehabilitate back into the Bucky he once knew and loved. Now that's a character with resilience. In at number 9, Batgirl. Speaking of resilient characters, Barbara Gordon aka Batgirl aka Oracle is one of the members of the Bat family, and the daughter of Gotham PD Commissioner James Gordon. Barbara has got a lot going on as a character, a complicated family backstory, a traumatic life event that drastically changed the way she was written, which also completely depowered her, then came back representing a whole new demographic of readers, and eventually had an inspiring return to the Batsuit. While Batgirl initially appeared as the sidekick for Batwoman back in the day, DC editor Julia Schwartz decided that the character needed a revamp since she was pretty outdated. They figured the best way of doing this, and a way to bring in new female audiences, was to introduce a new character on the Batman television series. Yes, that campy 60s Adam West show. Except this time, Batgirl would be the daughter of Commissioner Gordon. In her civilian life, she had a PhD in library science, and was the head of the Gotham City Public Library. Then in 1988, in Alan Moore's The Killing Joke, the hero was retired when she was shot by the Joker, and paralyzed from the waist down. It's also implied that she was sexually abused in the attack. Luckily, that wasn't the last of Barbara. She was given some agency back a year later, when Kim Yale and John Ostrander developed her new persona, Oracle, a character who dug herself out of depression to use her training in aptitude in information sciences to help fight crime, and also aid Batman. Then on Gail Simone's run for the New 52 Batgirl, we saw her take that to the next step, literally, by gaining her ability to walk again via the combination of special treatment and a whole lot of willpower. Up next, number 8, Rorschach. Alan Moore's Watchmen is perhaps the most celebrated collection of comics. I mean, hey, there are a few other great ones that it rubs shoulders with, but it's undeniable that Watchmen's subverted perspective on superheroes in an alternate 1980s vastly changed the way that audiences read comics. It presented a much darker, satirical, and disillusioned way of exploring the genre, tied in with reality-based what-ifs that really forced readers to question, analyze, and deconstruct superheroes in general. Rorschach, the prime vigilante whose goal is to deliver swift, eye-for-an-eye justice, is completely unhinged, and extremely invested in his unwavering code of ethics. Plus, his mask is pretty dope. Rorschach is a refreshing look at the vigilante superhero, a character that draws similarities to Batman, but is willing to do whatever it takes to fairly avenge those who have been wronged. In at number 7, Scott Pilgrim. The first character on our list who doesn't fit into the traditional mold of a superhero, Scott Pilgrim is an anti-hero for the millennial masses. He's a regular lazy slacker who lives in a crappy apartment and is dating all the wrong people, all in order to get over the woman who broke his heart, who is now a wildly successful chart-topping musician. But all that changes when he meets Ramona Flowers, sort of. And in order to win her heart, he's gotta fight her 7 evil exes in video game-inspired brawls. Scott makes this list for being hilarious, relatable, and by subverting what we normally consider to be a superhero comic, leaving us with a story that's not only massively entertaining, but one that's filled with nostalgia and coming-of-age life lessons, all of which resonate on many levels. It's also Toronto porn, and that's pretty swell. In at number 6, Black Panther. The popularity of his recent feature film makes this character a dead giveaway on this list. Black Panther, aka T'Challa, comes from Wakanda, an advanced African civilization that was never exposed to colonialism, and thrived after finding deposits of vibranium in their territory. They're the most technological, superior, and intelligent society on Earth, and as many film critics have been quick to note, the film is revolutionary. As Time magazine put it, it's more than just a superhero film. It's a film about what it means to be black in both America and Africa, a film film about the duality of blackness, and a film that grapples head-on with the issues affecting modern-day black life, which, hey, it's about damn time. Plus, Black Panther as a character is just flat-out awesome to boot. Combining his own exceptional combat skills, enhanced strength, speed, agility, and durability, his expertise in science, his high-tech vibranium equipment, and his mystical precognition to make him one hell of a hero and worthy adversary. Plus that costume. In at number 5, Buffy Summers. Buffy is the second person on our list who isn't a superhero in the traditional sense, but she sure does have all the makings and traits of one. From the television series Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Buffy is a young woman who we start off with in high school who is a Slayer. A Slayer being a woman chosen by fate to battle evil forces, who is endowed with super strength, endurance, agility, accelerated healing, intuition, and a limited degree of clairvoyance. She slays vampires and other supernatural creatures, all of which threaten to destroy the world as we know it, and to bring hell on Earth. Definitely not a thing anybody wants. But the thing that really drove home for a lot of fans was how Buffy, and the show itself, was one of the first really popular mainstream depictions of a badass female superhero who wasn't flying around in tights. Her stories were relatable, and at its core it was all about how she just wanted to be normal but must embrace her destiny. Buffy herself was a subversion of the stereotypical female horror film victim, with her character physically looking like many characters who fall into that archetype, except she had agency, she had power, and she kicked some serious butt. Up next, number 4, Batwoman. Batwoman was a golden age character who first appeared in Detective Comics number 233 in 1956. Initially called Kathy Kane, she was created as a member of the Bat family, one of the characters that were included after Frederick Wortham's Seduction of the Innocent book led to the creation of the Comics Code Authority. Batwoman was supposed to help balance out Batman and Robin by adding a feminine, familial touch to the character's world, especially since Wortham had criticized the dynamic duo as being homosexual. This meant that Batwoman was supposed to add some romance to the mix, and fought crime using a utility belt that included girl gadgets that were secretly weapons, like lipstick, compact mirrors, and charm bracelets. Fun. The irony though is that years later in 2006, when the character was revamped and became Kate Kane, she was a lesbian. Despite not being the first LGBTQ character at DC Comics at that time, she was the one who got the most hype and press coverage. When 2010 rolled around, she got her own series, and writers J.H. Williams III and W. Hayden Blackman expanded Kate's supporting cast. Plus, they created some of the most fantastical, dark, and beautifully crafted stories post-Crisis and in the New 52, really exploring the boundaries of the comic form and doing innovative work for a mainstream DC title. In at 3, Dr. Manhattan. To be perfectly honest, Dr. Manhattan is probably my all-time favorite superhero. The only reason why he doesn't make the top spot on this list is because of how important I feel the two numbers coming up are to the world of comics and pop culture as a whole. That being said, Dr. Manhattan is a parallel in ways to our number 8 spot, Rorschach. He's on the completely other end of the scale. Being unaffected by human life, he's an all-powerful, omnipotent being, and this has caused him to lose his empathy, at least until the final events of the comic. Spoilers, sort of. In which witnessing a miracle reinstates a semblance of adoration in life. What makes him even more interesting is the political repercussions a character like Manhattan has raised. There's literally whole books devoted to theories behind the texts and ideologies it's inspired. While Manhattan is literally a character that can do anything and everything, and can only be diffused by a convoluted plot like that of the conscientious megalomaniac Adrian Veidt, it takes some master character crafting like Alan Moore's to make him so intriguing and complex in order to resonate with so many readers. And that in itself is one hell of a feat. In our number 2 spot, Wonder Woman. Perhaps the most transformative character on this list, Wonder Woman is a figure that started off with some shadier origins back when she was created in 1941 by William Moulton Marston, the psychologist who had invented the polygraph. Marston wanted to create a female superhero who was the image of that era's unconventional liberated woman. Much of her character was inspired by Olive Bryne, the woman who lived with Marston and his wife in a polyamorous relationship. Aspects of bondage and submission were also incorporated into the character. For example, she was bound to Aphrodite's law, which meant that when her bracelets of submission were chained together by a man, he could take away her Amazonian super strength. So much for being liberated, eh? That being said, Wonder Woman would go through decades of changes, from being weirdly depowered in the 70s to now becoming one of the most empowering female characters in mainstream pop culture. Wonder Woman has proven to have staying power. The recent 2017 film speaks volumes to that. A whole new generation of Wonder Woman fans have rallied around the ideals of feminism and female strength that she represents. And hey, you gotta admit, it's pretty awesome seeing a bunch of young girls running around in Wonder Woman gear unabashedly declaring that they too can do anything they want. And finally, in at number 1, Superman. I'll be perfectly honest, I'm really not a big Superman fan. This is partially due to the stunts that DC has pulled over the years with the character, including my all-time favorite 1992 classic story arc, The Death of Superman. Sorry, by classic I mean steaming pile of narrative garbage that forever changed the state of death in comics. But that's the thing with Superman, he is a character who has changed the face of comics for decades, and will continue to do so. He's the character that comes to mind immediately when you think of the word superhero. He was the defining archetype of the superhero, and the reason why the genre exists in the first place, with his debut in 1938 changing the game forever. Yes, the Man of Steel had predecessors in comics, but he was really the first character who struck a note with audiences. In addition to that, he's proven to be resilient too, beyond just bad writing. His popularity dropped significantly after World War II, after certain atrocities committed by Nazi Germany came to light on an international scale. Back then, people just couldn't bring themselves to believe in the optimistic ideals that he represented. Yet he was a rallying point of patriotism, a symbol of freedom. Superman has exceeded just being a character in the panels of comic book pages. He stands for so much more than that. He represents the ideals that people have projected onto him over the years. So whether you love him, hate him, or don't really care, it's undeniable that the Man of Steel represents more than just a hunky-dory character in tights. He's an icon, and it's well deserved. Alright, there we have it, friends. Do you agree with my picks? Let me know your thoughts in those comments below. As always, if you dug this video, hit that like button, and feel free to subscribe if you want to hang out with us some more. And if you want to check out more nerdy vids, there's a playlist flashing on your screen right now with a ton of great videos. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I've been Kelly Pally, and this has been Top 10 Nerd. Catch you all in the next one.